Before purchasing and installing Pella products, verify that the product performance meets the application requirements. Refer to the most current installation instructions on installpella.com for assembling and installing Pella products, and for additional details on rough opening preparation for various wall system applications. Multi-slide panels are bottom-loaded. Verification of all building and construction loads by a structural engineer is recommended. Locate the written installation instructions, installation screw packages, and other included accessories in the provided installation kit. Refer to the installation instructions for the tools, materials, and specific steps needed to install your Pella product. Remember, always use appropriate personal protective equipment. Unpackage the multi-slide door panels and inspect for damage prior to install. Lay out the sill track assembly and head assembly, exterior side up, on a clean flat surface, inserting wood blocks under each corner to support and level the frame. If the frame system is over 20 feet wide, complete the splice assembly instructions at the end of this video before proceeding. Orient the left and right side jambs, exterior side up, by matching the numbers on the jamb ends to the numbers on the head and sill. Begin at one end of the sill. Gently remove the green adhesive release liner from the top of the sill corner block. Position the sill to align with the jamb corner and fasten through the bottom jamb assembly plate using the provided sill assembly screws. At the top of the jamb, peel the adhesive release liner from the top jamb assembly plate. Locate the two head and jamb screw packages labeled with the matching corner numbers. Note that the bottom row screws are longer than the top row screws. Insert a bottom row screw into the jamb assembly plate, piercing the tape to help align with the screw boss on the head. Align and fit the side jamb to the head, assuring the screw is aligned with the screw boss located in the head track. Insert and finish driving the row of bottom screws. Be careful not to over-tighten or strip the screw heads. If not careful, impact drivers can cause screw head breakage. Locate the screws labeled as top screws. Insert and tighten the row of top screws. Insert and tighten the final top row screw at the bottom if not previously installed. Repeat the assembly process for the other head and jamb corner. Repeat the assembly process for the other sill and jamb corner. Prior to setting the frame, complete all required rough opening preparations, including any sill flashing and other steps as specified in the installation instructions. Sill flashing is not shown in the following steps. Measure the location of the screw hole slots on the bottom of the side sill. Use these measurements to position the sill shims adjacent to the screw locations on the sill rough opening. Measure and mark the interior edge of the sill on the bottom of the rough opening. Using a laser level, confirm the rough opening sill is level. If the sill is not level, place extra shims at the sill screw hole locations across the length of the sill. Attach shims with staples or flashing tape. Check the jambs for plumb. From the exterior, raise the frame into an upright position and place in front of the rough opening. Lift and position the frame, placing the sill first into the rough opening, then tilt in the head. Position the frame 3 to 4 inches back from its final interior position, centering the frame within the rough opening. On the interior side of the rough opening, measure and mark a sealant bead line 1.5 inches back from the interior edge of the sill's final position. Apply a thick bead of sealant along the marked bead line across the full length of the opening and 6 inches up each jamb. Lift the frame up and move on top of the sealant bead to place the frame in the final position. Do not slide the sill over the sealant bead. Drill an 1/8-inch pilot hole and insert one installation screw near the top of each jamb to temporarily hold the frame in place. Gently remove the exterior and interior sill covers if present, starting at one end and loosening along the track, exposing the pre-drilled installation screw locations. Note the difference in interior and exterior sill covers. The interior sill cover has a foam seal and slight interior bump. Using a laser level, confirm the sill is level. At every screw location, check the interior and exterior of the sill for level. Adjust shims as needed. Assure even reveal on each side of the jamb to rough opening. Pilot drill using an 1/8-inch drill bit into the rough opening at all sill hole locations. Insert additional shims as needed to assure the sill is level. Inject sealant into every installation hole on both sides of the sill. Do not place sealant into the exterior weep slots. Fasten the length of the sill track using supplied frame installation screws for a wood subfloor. Adjust sill to level by adding shims as needed at or near the screw installation holes. Assure frame is plumb, level, and square before continuing. Place a continuous toe bead of sealant across the inner sill at the intersection of the door sill and subfloor. Continue the sealant 6 inches up each jamb. Place the track cover in the correct orientation against the track at one jamb. Slightly bow the cover away from the sill to ease the fit against the opposite jamb. Start on one end and push on the face of the cover while rotating it down to seat it into place. Continue to press in place along the length of the sill. Repeat on the other track cover. Check for plumb, level, and square of the entire frame before continuing. On the vent jamb, remove the tape which temporarily holds the installation screw cover in place and remove the cover. Back out the temporary screw and confirm the jamb is plumb and square. Drill a pilot hole at each pre-drilled screw location. Insert shims and install screws in the pre-drilled screw holes along the jamb. Use a level to verify jamb for level and plumb after installing each screw. Reinstall the installation screw cover by tapping into place gently using a wood block and rubber mallet along the length of the cover. On the fixed jamb, back out the temporary screw and confirm jamb is plumb and square. Along the aluminum clad side, pilot drill, shim, and insert installation screws at every pre-drilled hole location. Shim behind the lock strike and insert installation screws into the open lock strike screw locations. On the fixed jamb along the wood side, shim the jamb at the top, middle, and bottom. Fasten the wood side by one of the following options. Use a finish nail to attach the jamb at each shim location, or mark and drill pilot holes into the rough opening at the 3 shim locations. Insert trim head finish screws and fasten. On the exterior side, measure the frame opening height at each jamb and cut a board to use as a gauge or guide to help level the head to the same height. Starting in the middle of the frame width, pilot drill through the screw hole locations into the rough opening across all of the tracks. Shim at the exterior and interior of the middle installation screw hole locations. Install the center head location screws. Continue pilot drilling and fastening in all remaining screw hole locations in the head, repositioning the gauge board as needed. Every panel will have 2 labels. One identifies the door configuration and one identifies the panel location within the configuration as viewed from the exterior. With 2 people handling each panel, approach the door frame from the exterior. When looking at the configuration, identify the interior-most panel. Start by inserting the top of the panel into the interior-most head track and guiding the bottom of the panel into vertical alignment, making sure the rollers are aligned with each track. Remove the adjustment hole plug located on the bottom edge of the panel to access the roller adjustment mechanism. Using an 8-inch Phillips head screwdriver, turn the adjustment mechanism on both sides of the panel clockwise to raise the panels up into the head, but ensure sill weather strips maintain contact with the sill. Check for smooth operation of the first panel. Slide the panel over to the vent jamb and confirm the panel to frame reveal is even between the jamb and the panel. Make adjustments as needed. Reinsert the adjustment hole plugs into each side of the panel. From the exterior, install the second panel by inserting the top of the panel into the second track from the interior, overlapping the previous panel to allow the interlocker to engage. Bring the bottom of the panel into alignment with the track. Check that the first panel can easily slide beside the second panel. Repeat the roller adjustment process with the second panel to be even with the first panel. Repeat the panel installation process for all remaining panels, making sure all panels have even reveal and are level. Slide all panels into the closed position. The fixed panels will be on the exterior-most track. Check for proper fit within the frame. Check for even reveal and fit at the fixed jamb. Make adjustments as needed. Check panels at the interlockers for proper fit. Locate the panel collector plate in the Z offset profile. On the second vent panel, on the trailing edge, position the Z profile collector plate over the pre-drilled pilot holes and fasten using provided screws. Operate the interior leading panel until it engages with the offset collector plate to assure fit. Locate the panel collector plate in the flat profile. Position the flat profile collector plate over the pilot holes on the trailing edge of the next panel and fasten using provided screws. Operate the first and second panel until it engages with the flat collector plate to assure fit. Continue installing remaining collector plates. When the door configuration has a fixed panel, locate the fixed panel wood plug. Close and lock the fixed panel with a flat bladed screwdriver to engage the locking mechanism. Insert the fixed panel wood plug and gently tap into place until it protrudes 1/16 inch from the surface. Locate the headphone plugs. Remove the adhesive release paper. Fully close all panels. From the exterior, start at the head where the first and second panel meet. Insert a foam plug and twist to assure the longest leg sits against the second panel. firmly press against the head track. Repeat for all middle panels. A head foam plug is not needed on the exterior-most panel. To install the flush hardware, lay out the hardware components on a clean surface. Insert the key cylinder into the cylinder housing, aligning with the grooves of the housing. Secure into the housing with the cylinder clip. Position the exterior hardware handle plate so the cylinder hole is up. Insert the assembly, correctly orienting the up arrow. Install the 4 attachment screws. Locate the interior handle plate. Keep the thumb turned in the horizontal position with the V on the back side of the handle plate upside down. Place interior handle plate onto the interior side of the panel. From the exterior side of the panel, align the lock handle pin closest to the lock strike with the hole in the lock link already installed in the panel. Position the hole on the pin. Locate the retaining washer. Place the retaining washer on a magnetic 1/4 inch drive socket and install the retaining washer into the lock handle pin to hold the lock into place. Install the plastic housing into the exterior handle cavity. Locate the exterior handle assembly and assure the tail shaft is horizontal. Insert exterior handle assembly into the panel and align the key cylinder tail shaft with the interior handle keyway, keeping the interior thumb turn in the horizontal position. With both the interior and exterior flush handle plates snug against the panel, install the 2 handle screws. Check for operation. For doors with 2 handle sets, repeat the hardware install process and check for operation. If the door is using a handle set in place of the flush hardware, a bumper must be installed to prevent the handle from contacting the second panel. On the second panel, position the bumper horizontally 1 1/4 inches down from the top of the panel and centered 6 inches from the edge of the panel for a traditional panel style, or 4 inches from the edge for a contemporary panel style. Drill 7/64 inch pilot holes using the bumper as a drill template. Fasten with provided screws. Refer to the installation instructions for remaining finishing steps. When installing a multi-slide into a pocket application, unique steps are required for preparing the rough opening and installing the pocket accessories. This pocket install assumes the exterior wall of the pocket is already constructed and the interior wall is not yet constructed, providing access to the install process. Begin at the exterior of the sill on the pocket side and apply flashing tape extending 1 inch to the exterior and 6 inches up the jamb of the daylight opening. Continue to apply flashing tape across the length of the sill and 6 inches up the opposite jamb. Gently tear the flashing tape at the corner and press down firmly. Continue pressing the flashing tape firmly to the exterior along the length of the opening. Repeat the corner prep on the daylight opening jamb. Place a 3-inch wide piece of flashing tape at each corner overlapping the tears made previously. Repeat at the opposite corner. From the back side of the exterior wall of the pocket, apply flashing tape starting at the daylight opening 3 inches up the interior face of the pocket. Continue the length of the pocket, wrapping around the back of the pocket jamb. Starting in the corner in the back side of the pocket, apply a row of flashing tape extending up the exterior wall pocket by 1 inch, overlapping the previous row of tape. Continue pressing the flashing tape along the length of the opening and 6 inches up the opposite jamb. Continue to apply additional pieces of flashing tape across the sill opening, overlapping the previous piece by at least 1 inch, until the sill is covered with flashing tape and 6 inches up each jamb. Follow the instructions for assembling and installing the frame using the multi-slide stacking door process, and install all of the door panels before proceeding. Locate the wood pocket closer with interlocker and position it next to the trailing panel closest to the pocket. Starting at the head, align the groove on the side of the panel with the pocket closer. Using a flat-bladed screwdriver, guide the sill mohair pad under the edge of the trailing panel and finish aligning the groove on the side of the panel with the pocket closer. Use a shim to adjust the height of the pocket closer so the sill weather strips align horizontally. Attach the wood pocket closer to the trailing panel using the provided attachment screws in each pre-drilled hole, then remove the shim. Locate and position the clad interlocker on the outside of the pocket, ensuring the interlocker is facing the panel. Align the interlocker against the face of the daylight opening jamb. Pilot drill and fasten the interlocker using the provided attachment screws through the pre-drilled holes. Install the installation screw cover by tapping into place with a wood block and a rubber mallet along the length of the cover. Apply a bead of color-matched or clear sealant along the clad interlocker to seal in place. Complete the exterior finishing steps according to the written installation instructions. For door systems greater than 20 feet, splicing will be needed in the head and sill. Prior to assembly, confirm all parts and tools are available. If splicing the weep sill, remove the middle sill track covers and set aside. Remove the interior and exterior sill track covers by inserting a stiff-bladed putty knife between the track cover and the track at one end. Tap the putty knife with a rubber mallet to assist in disengaging. Pry the cover off, working along the length of the sill cover. Repeat for all weep sill interior and exterior sill covers and set aside. For the weep sill and the integrated sill, slide the two sections together, being sure to align the pins in one section with the bosses in the adjacent section, closing the gap. Insert the provided bolts on the interior and exterior of the sill, and attach the nuts. Fasten tightly using pliers and wrench. Tighten until there is no gap in the splice joint. Repeat the splice joint attachment for the opposite side of the sill. Apply a thin bead of sealant on top of the splice joint. Peel the adhesive release liner from the butyl sealant pad. Start at one side of the interior of the track and press the pad gently along the splice joint, careful to wrap without air pockets. When installed properly, the sealant pad should not exceed the height of the sill track. Repeat for all spliced joints between each track. Flip the assembled sill over. Cut a piece of butyl sealant tape long enough to cover each splice joint. Peel the adhesive release liner from the butyl sealant tape. Apply tape over the splice joint, pressing firmly, avoiding air pockets. Flip the assembled sill back over so the tracks are facing up and reinstall the middle sill covers on the 1.5 inch weep sill. The 1 inch integrated sill does not have covers. Slide the two sections of the sill together, being sure to align the pins in one section with the bosses in the adjacent section. Place a splice connector on one side of the sill, aligning the holes with the holes in the sill. Install and tighten with provided attachment screws. Repeat the splice connector attachment on the opposite side of the sill and flip the sill track upside down. Cut a piece of butyl sealant tape long enough to cover each splice joint. Peel the adhesive release liner from the butyl sealant tape. Apply tape over the splice joint, pressing firmly, avoiding air pockets. Insert the pins into the edge of one of the head sections. The number of pins will depend on the width of the head. Insert each turn fastener into the head on the same frame section in which the pins were inserted. Make sure the triangle is pointing toward the splice joint. Rotate the turn fastener 180 degrees in the direction of the curved arrow to lock the pin in place. Align the pins in one section with the holes in the other and slide the two sections together. Insert a turn fastener into each open hole in the other section. Make sure the triangle is pointing toward the splice joint. Rotate the turn fastener 180 degrees in the direction of the curved arrow to lock the pin in place. Flip the head assembly over. Peel the adhesive release liner from the butyl sealant pad and apply pad over the splice joint in between each head channel, avoiding air pockets. Be sure to position the pads directly under the pile of weather strips. Locate the head support brackets and align the holes in the brackets with the pre-drilled holes in the interior and exterior channels of the head. Install the provided temporary screws into the holes in the brackets. Please note that after the frame assembly is installed into the rough opening and shimmed, the temporary brackets must be removed.